We will bring you more reaction to his death a little bit later. Now, there's still a lot of confusion surrounding the UK's withdrawal from the European Union. Politicians have so far been unable to decide what type of Brexit they want. So, how does all the uncertainty affect people across the UK? Geeta Murthy is in Margate on the southeast coast, an area which voted strongly in favour of leaving the EU.
The skies here are the loveliest in all Europe. So thought the artist Turner, who loved the town of Margate for its sea and its skies. The Kent coast, a gateway to Europe, voted largely in favour of Brexit. What do people here think now?
We was a better country before we went in there.
I mean, we're not our own country now, are we?
We're being ruled by the bleating common market.
How dare they tell us what to do in our own country?
I'm from Cyprus, Greek Cypriot I am, and I'm voting for Brexit to go out, you know what I mean? And to be on our own, yeah. And I think we'll succeed.
I'd go no deal. Let them get on with it. Move away. We will get there. It may take a couple of years. We will get there. We're British, for goodness sake.
The sun has got his hat on. Hip, 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 hooray!
Holidaymakers have been coming here for over 200 years, but in the 1970s, low-cost flights to mainland Europe crippled tourism. Housing became so cheap that other parts of the UK sent their jobless and asylum seekers here. But Margate is on the move again. Big money's being spent, for instance at this hotel, which in the past hosted T.S. Eliot, Charlie Chaplin and Sir Mick Jagger. The owner, a Remainer, isn't worried about the effect of Brexit.
Margate was a jewel in the crown of British seaside resorts back in the day. You know, even in the worst case scenario, people are talking about where the pound sinks, confidence dives. That will mean people either spend more time in the UK or it's cheaper for overseas tourists to come here.
Leading the regeneration has been the Turner Gallery. It has some EU funds and its director fears Brexit could not only turn Kent into a lorry park, but will bring other costs.
I'm also worried about what happens with the pound versus the euro, because obviously our costs are quite considerable in terms of moving works of art.
Brexit will end freedom of movement, and some say that's driven Europeans here back home already. The owner of this shop says it could prove fatal to his business, so he might follow.
I hope stay with Europe or doing good deals with Europe. We still don't know what is exactly Brexit for. Is it about foreign people or is it about economy?
As the sun sets potentially on the Brexit deadline, what's clear here in Margate is that Brexit isn't just about politics or ideology, it's about real people's jobs, their homes, their future. That is what's at stake. Geeta Murthy, BBC News, Margate.
Good afternoon. There's still a lot of confusion surrounding the UK's withdrawal from the European Union with just a few weeks to go. Politicians have so far been unable to decide what type of Brexit they want. So how does all this uncertainty affect people across the UK? Geeta Murthy is in Margate for us today, in Dover, sorry. Over to you, Geeta.
Thanks very much, Joanna. I was in Margate. I'm going to show you a report from there in a couple of moments' time. First of all, I am in Dover, and you might be able to see the lorries behind me. Everything moving very efficiently and quickly here at the port. This is the biggest port in Europe. It is, of course, the main gateway for passenger traffic and freight traffic to and from the EU for the UK. We're only 43 kilometres here from Calais. I spoke to the head of the port here. He said that they are making preparations for Brexit, either with a deal or no deal, but they are waiting to see what the Europeans will do in terms of putting in any extra customs checks. Until they know what that detail is, they simply can't be sure what the full impact is going to be here. Interestingly, he also said that he didn't think a delay would be particularly helpful to him in terms of planning, simply because they're already working to that deadline at the end of March, unless there is a very good concrete reason, of course. Well, you've been talking a bit about this extra funding that the government is announcing today. Controversial because some people are saying, is it a bribe simply for Brexit votes? But the South East here down in Kent could, of course, apply for some of that money. And I went to Margate, one area that is very much in need of extra investment. It has had EU funds in the past. It's politically interesting because Ted Heath, the Prime Minister who took the UK into the EU, was born near there. And Nigel Farage campaigned unsuccessfully, of course, to be an MP in Thanet, which covers part of Margate. His message, however, clearly has cut through there. Well, one thing that did surprise me, I have to say, Joanna, was the number of people who are changing their minds on Brexit. Many of them actually reluctant to talk on camera because they feel it's just too sensitive a subject. But some who voted Remain now feel that they should just respect the referendum vote, the original referendum vote. Some who voted Leave, though, say they can't back Theresa May's deal. Also, they don't want a no deal. They're worried about all the announcements, in particular from big business, taking jobs out of the UK. And they say if there was another vote, a second referendum, they might now, in fact, vote to remain. So still politically much to play for all the political parties watching what lies ahead.
Thank you very much, Geeta, in Dover. Thank you. OK.